want to talk to you about something interesting, to say the least. I want to talk to you about dreams. I know, crazy, right? Me, a writer, talking about dreams. Is it really that much of a stretch? I don't think so. Why do I want to talk to you about this? I want to talk to you about this because something really and truly, and maybe even profoundly, happened to me recently. In fact, it was last week. I woke up last week, one morning. I don't remember which day it was. But I woke up after having a dream. Now, I can't tell you what that dream was. And in a moment, you'll understand why. And of course, chances are, Muse, you know what that dream was. But I woke up, and as soon as my eyes cracked open, I knew. I knew that that dream was going to be the next book I wrote. It was that vivid. Now, I can't say that I rarely remember my dreams, but it's not every day. It's not an everyday occurrence that I wake up remembering my dreams. And most of the times, those dreams fade very quickly. But when I wake up after having had a dream like this, there are times when I'm changed. And there are times when my trajectory is changed. I thought fairly certain that I knew what I was going to be writing next. But when I woke up from this dream, everything had changed. I wish I could tell you about this dream, but I can't. But what's really cool about this dream was it wasn't that I just woke up thinking that I had to turn this dream into a book. I woke up filled with this indescribable excitement about this story. That dream affected me that much. So much so that as soon as I woke up, I even knew the title of the book. The title of the book is called Defying Gravity. And one thing I'm really excited about this book is that it brings together so many of the things that I love. It's going to be about an actor rehearsing a theatrical show. And something miraculous happens. And the book is going to be a sort of metaphor for something that only people, well, not, I shouldn't say that only people that have ever done anything within the theater will understand. It will resonate to anyone who has ever found life-fulfilling joy in the act of doing something. Now, this isn't the first time that I have woken up from a dream and said, that's got to be a book. The same thing happened with Hopetown. And the same thing happened with Among You. Now, if anybody listening into our conversation, Muse, has read those three books in particular, I think they might understand or see where I'm going with this. Because Among You and Hopetown and this new book that I will be writing have a very deep and special connection to me. And because of that, they remain some of my favorite works. Now, among you started out, it was a dream in high school. And it was such an effective dream that I remembered it years later. And then I turned that dream into a stage play. And eventually I turned it into a book. But that should be very telling as to the power of dreams. So, when something like this happens to me, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind what must be done. Yes, that morning when I woke up from the dream, one of the first things I did was write some notes in my to-be-written list. And a lot of times when I write notes in my to-be-written list, which is incredibly long at this point, I do so just so I won't forget that idea for this book. So that weeks, months, years later, I can read that paragraph or sentence, usually a paragraph, about that idea and know immediately what it is that I want to write. But in the case of Defying Gravity, there was such an electrical, immediate connection to that dream that I knew that there was absolutely no question that that was the next book I was going to write. I'm still waiting for Hopetown to come back from edits. I'm about to finish the first draft of Fear. I have a short story to write, which won't take me but a couple of days. But as soon as that's done, I'm going to dive into this book. And I don't recall being this excited about writing a book. Ever. And I don't know if that has to do with the fact that the idea for this book is so deeply rooted in something that defined me for decades. I used every ounce of my artistic energy for 3 decades as an actor. And then eventually I shifted, and for a long, long while, all of that energy was then focused strictly on writing. And then within the past few years, I've kind of juggled them both. But it is these kinds of ideas, these seeds of a story that I get from you, Muse. I know that you were the one that planted it in my head as I was sleeping. But it's these ideas that fuel me and help me to get from moment to moment in my artistic world. And I know that, at least for me, in this instance, it's kind of a 1-2 punch of specialness, because I get to write a fictional story centered around a world that I adore. Because, and I've said this before, but theater saved my life. And I don't mean that. I don't know if I mean that literally. But I came from a small town with a rather small mind and a terribly, terribly dysfunctional family. Dangerously so at some point. And it was the theater that served as my escape. As as soon as I was able to, I left that town. I went to undergraduate school and I studied theater, and I became engrossed and deeply intertwined in to a world that accepted me and loved me and embraced me and allowed me to flourish as an artist, something I didn't even know I was. And that connection between me and that craft is the heart of me. And this upcoming book, I get to write about it. And there have been moments since I had that dream where I have found myself almost weeping with joy and sorrow and fear and all of the emotions that can possibly hit me at once. Because I cannot wait to get this story. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I cannot wait to get this story out of me, while at the same time I want to keep it close to my heart. There's always that fear as an artist that when you release, when you exorcise these demons, and I don't mean demons in the normal way, but when you exorcise these demons, you're afraid that when they are released, that you'll never get them back. That when you write this story, or when you perform, when the curtain comes down on this show, you'll never, ever get that feeling back. It was the same way when we closed Cabaret 2 years ago. I cannot believe it's been that long. But when we closed that show, that final performance during curtain call, I was weeping. I felt sorry for the people in the front row because my tears and my snot and my sweat were just flying out into the audience. I couldn't help it because I knew that I would never experience that again. Sure, I might do the show again later on, but it wouldn't be that one. And so I know I'm going to be writing this book very soon. And there's a little part of me that says with each word I write, I want to make sure that I'm not letting this go, but I'm just sharing it. Because we artists, we know that our craft, our art, is our lifeblood. We live, breathe, die, and experience profound joy and loss and hope. That is where we get it all. And I know that sounds terrible, because we should be getting that from other people. And yes, we do get that from other people. I have a wonderful family that I love dearly. And there are things that I can't get from anywhere else that I get from my family, just like there are things that I cannot get from anywhere else but my art. And so when I embark on telling the story of defying gravity, I think I will be at the same time, simultaneously, I'll be giddy and filled with sorrow. But I know that there are so many people out there that will be able to read this story and relate to it on such a deep level. And hopefully, it will remind them that that place where they get joy from must be held so dearly and tightly and never let go. All of this from a dream. A single dream. And to be perfectly honest, I have no idea how long the dream lasted. I woke up remembering this one very specific part of this dream. There may have been more, but all of this came from that dream. So the lesson learned is for every artist out there to pay close attention to your dreams. And don't worry, Muse. I know. I know that behind those dreams you're working in this little box with a velvet curtain and you're maneuvering all these buttons and levers to make it all happen for me. So thank you. Thank you for giving me this dream. And thank you for giving me the ability to share these things with other people. You know what? That makes you, Muse, pretty awesome.